When we left the village, it was still intact. You come back, you can rebuild homes, but there were no people, many people were killed, and there is no community anymore, and that's always the greatest shock. So, I mean, when you look this way, you've got these nice homes, and it's really, really quiet. And before the war, you would hear children laughing, playing, mothers calling them to come back home. And I don't think it will ever come back. The life that we had before. Sheriff Pervanic, he was the most influential man in the village. And this is his son, Mohammed, or Hamid as we call him. Yes. And they decided to stay behind. And we don't exactly know why, whether they were threatened that they had to stay behind or not. And soon after that, they were killed. So Shera was killed in front of his house. He was strangled with wire and shot twice. Hamid tried to run away and they gunned him down. This is Mustafa, my next door neighbor. He was killed in a large massacre on the 21st of August 92, where about 200 people were summarily executed. And they didn't have a clue that there were remains of 456 people underneath. They left the village alive, were killed somewhere, and then their bodies were dumped in a mass grave in their own village.
Well, the country runs constitutionally, basically under the regulations of the Dayton Peace Agreement. It's been described very much as a glorified ceasefire, which is certainly not the type of document that should be used to build a state. And this allows nationalists within the country to undermine the state. So the state exists on paper through Dayton, but in practice the state doesn't really exist at all.
We are sitting very 200 meters from the office of our mayor, and nowhere in Prijedor area it's possible to see Bosnian flag or some Bosnian symbols or something what actually used to keep a memory. Let us talk about 103 kids killed.
So, you see, this field was packed with people, and the field on the other side, and they were forced to be here. Horrible things happened here. Women, girls were raped here. People were killed here.
In front of Ternopilj, there is a monument for the dead Serb soldiers who were killed for fighting for their homeland. And that, for me, that's the problem. It's okay to honor the victims, even the soldiers. It's happened, it's okay. But in that way, in these kind of places, it's wrong. And you cannot accept and hope for the coexistence and reconciliation if you go like that.
Forgiveness is very much a banned word in Bosnia, especially from the Bosniak side. We would love to forgive, but nobody is apologizing. For the Serbs, it's like they can't forgive because the Battle of Kosovo was so heavy.
My father was killed 200 meters from our house. And my last words of my father were, "Why are you doing that to me? I have 4 children. Who is going to take care of them?" And without any kind of mercy, he was brutally killed. I cannot forgive him. Forgive him is at the same time left them free.
Finally, I can say for me it was like eye-opening. It's not them, like Serbs or Chetniks, who deserve to be forgiven. It's not anybody else, it's me. And then I realized that if I forgive, if I find a way to deal with that, I'm gonna be free.
If we don't deal with what happened in 92 to 95, your children will have to deal with it, whether with dialogue or with weapons. For many years I didn't want to get married or have children for this reason, because I didn't want to have my children being taken to concentration camps. I would say it's much more difficult to work with young people than with older generations. Of course there is this part of older generations, we believe them, they betrayed our trust. But when it comes to let's have coffee together, it's so much easier for the older generation to sit and have a relaxed conversation than with young people. But being Bosniak or Serb or Croat or Muslim or Catholic or Orthodox, it was completely irrelevant. Now, when we talk about current situation, when we see that there is an incident happening in Prijedor, we automatically go for names to see whether the Bosniak was killed in Prijedor.
There are criminals. There is one idiot who killed my father in name of Serbian population. But how many Serbs agree with him? All of us, we are collectively responsible for our future, the future of our children. That's how we should start talking about it.